What's up, ladies and gentlemen, back again with another video, and today we're going to be reviewing season 1 of Netflix's Resident Evil. Netflix Resident Evil stars Ella Balinska, who's better known for being in the Charlie's Angels reboot from 2019, Lance Reddick, Adeline Rudolph, as well as among others. This story revolves around Jada Wesker, who's played by Ella Balinska, and she's haunted by her past, her father, and what happened to her sister Billy Wesker. Now, this TV series takes place in two different timelines. First in 2022, involving their childhood as teenagers moving into New Raccoon City and learning to adjust to the neighborhood and the schooling system over there. And 14 years later, the second timeline, it revolves around I believe 2036, which it kind of spans the different locations and whatnot, and it's more like post-apocalyptic. There's a bunch of zombies, there's different type of monsters, giant spiders and giant slugs and things like that. In this, this show's like a 8-episode run, and in between each episode it kind of goes back and forth between the 2022 timeline and the 2036 timeline in this Resident Evil series. So you kind of get to know, I guess, Billy and Jada Wesker's characters throughout those 8-episode time span. And then you also get to know about, I guess, Albert Wesker, played by Lance Reddick, and you get to cover more of his backstory and his association with the Umbrella Corporation and whatnot, and some of the experiments that are being worked on and whatnot, and things like that. According to, I guess, the showrunners of this Netflix original series, apparently this is in the same canon as the video games, despite some of the changes that they have made to some characters like Albert Wesker. Because if you're a hardcore gamer, if you're a fan of the Resident Evil video games, you're probably thinking, well, if this is canon within video games, how come Albert Wesker does not look like the Albert Wesker of how he looks like in the OG timeline in the actual video games and whatnot? So that's something that, if you're a hardcore fan of the video games, you're having a hard time believing that, despite what the showrunners of the series are saying. Now, the storyline in here basically uses the backdrop of the video games, and I guess places it within that sort of, I guess, continuity that they're going for, while at the same time they're telling their own new original story with Jada Wesker trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. Now, if you're expecting a survival horror atmosphere much like the video games, you'll be highly disappointed, because this focuses more like on the science fiction action aspect, much like the Mila Jovovich, Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil films. So they're over the top on the action sequences, but there's really no creepy atmosphere like they did with the first 3 original Resident Evil games, like Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and the whole thing with the tyrant, the nemesis, and all the other key characters. Now they do have the lickers appear in this series, and like giant slugs and giant spiders, but not too many actual signature characters you would actually see in this series created by Netflix. They did have the chainsaw guy from Resident Evil 4 appear in this series. He appears in a few scenes on here going all crazy with the chainsaw. So yeah, that's probably maybe the 3 or 4. There's a few Easter eggs. There's mention of Dr. William Birkin, and mentions of old Raccoon City, the OG Raccoon City, and what happened with the fallout of the original Raccoon City, and the daughters, Billy and Jay, trying to figure out the truth behind it, because we're living In this timeline, Umbrella Corporation is not just a pharmaceutical company. They're more like a top-notch company where they basically own everybody. They own the police, they own the internet, and they have certain sites blocked off where you're trying to look up certain information and whatnot, because there's the whole cover-up on what happened to the original Raccoon City. So as you go through each episode, they try to uncover the truth on what happened to the original Raccoon City. And like I said, they mentioned characters like Dr. William Birkin and whatnot, and things of that sort. So that's how they're trying to use it as the same continuity as the video games and whatnot. Now, watching this, it's like it's part teen drama, part zombie apocalypse, especially with the 22 timeline when they're like teenagers who are like 14 or 15 years old. It basically revolving around that sort of thing, you know. But my thoughts on the show: do I think it's good? I think it's bad. I liked it. I thought it was enjoyable. I got through the series pretty well. Do I think it's Resident Evil? Not so much. I think if you guys are fans of the Mila Jovovich films, you'll probably be a fan of this Netflix original series. But if you're fans of the Resident Evil video games, I think you'll be highly disappointed with this adaptation by Netflix that came out. You know, right now it's really, I believe, ranked number 2 in the top 10 TV shows right now that's most watched on Netflix. There hasn't been any news if there's going to be renewed for a season 2, so we'll have to just wait and see how that all turns out in the end, you know. But my thoughts are kind of pretty much mixed. Like, I enjoyed the show, but at the same time, I'm thinking this isn't Resident Evil. You know, it's called Resident Evil by name, but it's not exactly adapted to the actual video games. Instead, it's like this new original story and whatnot. So, like I said, you know, if you're fans of the Paul W.S. Anderson films and the one that came out like last year, Welcome to Raccoon City, you'll probably like this series. If you're fans of the video games, you're definitely going to be highly disappointed with this Netflix original series under the name Resident Evil. Alright guys, give me your final thoughts below. Did you guys like this show? Did you guys hate this show? Are you hoping for a season 2, or are you just gonna skip the show altogether? If you want to see more content like this, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys around for the next video. Y'all have a great day now. Peace.